Have you noticed that we seem to live in an era where everything is increasingly connected and change is accelerating? In Europe, our digital transformation is leading to the digitization of the paperwork that we use today to ensure the free movement of goods, services, capital, and people within the European single market. As government and government services are increasingly digitized, the well-established in-person verification processes that rely on documents is going to change. In the future, official documents and the verification of those documents will become digital by default. Now, getting there is a complex problem with many obstacles that we'll need to overcome, and we don't know exactly how long this transition is going to take. But one thing is for sure: this transformation is an opportunity for our society. If we can implement a new trust paradigm, we can ensure faster and cheaper online verification processes with the highest level of trust. Hello and welcome. This is the first in a series of tutorials that we've designed to show you how you can kickstart a pilot using the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure, or EBSI as we like to call it for short, because the European Blockchain Service Infrastructure is quite the mouthful. Anyway, in later episodes, we're going to look at the practical and technical sides of setting up a pilot project. But in this episode, we're going to start with the why. Why is this a really exciting time to kickstart a pilot with EBSI? We're going to look at the challenges that come with transforming public administrations and digitizing official documents. We're going to explore the concept of trust and look at two key patterns that allow us to share data in a trusted way. And finally, we're going to zoom in on the emerging concept of verifiable credentials and look at why it's so interesting and how it relates to the EU's blockchain initiative, EBSI. Now, this topic can be a little intimidating if you're new to it, but stick around and we'll go through it together. So, let's begin at the beginning. Why do we trust paper? Well, government entities are intermediaries in many transactions that happen in our society. The documents that they issue or certify are the way that we verify information about people, goods, and services. Your driving license, for example, is an official document that certifies that you can drive. That's how we keep the roads safe. Now, we trust these official documents because they come from government entities, and so they're important to society, the way the economy works, and in the context of the European Union, they're vital for the functioning of the single market. Now, when we digitize these official documents, we can really unleash the power of digital transformation. It means faster flows of information. It means faster processing of that information. And it means that we can automate the verification of that information. This transformation is not entirely straightforward. Digital documents are easy to copy and easy to modify. And this is where we get really to the heart of the matter, the issue of digital trust. Digitizing documents is the easy part. The challenge is to transition from traditional paper-based checks to digital checks or verifications that we can trust. As we build this European regulatory framework that's going to allow us to move from paper to digital, an important discussion is happening at the technical level. How do we share these official documents, sometimes called evidences or credentials, in a way that we can trust? Well, there are a number of ways of doing it. And today, we're going to look at the two key ways or patterns of sharing and verifying official documents. The first pattern is called the just-in-time evidence issuance pattern. This is how we've shared data over the last few decades. Systems make requests to authentic sources and they send a response. An authentic source is essentially a government-controlled data source, such as a population register, a vehicle register, or a business register. But the emergence of blockchain has led to a discussion about an alternative pattern, known as the verifiable credential. But before we dive into that, let's make sure we have a good understanding of this first pattern. Just-in-time evidence issuance, aka the digital post. So why is digital post a good analogy for this pattern? Well, because conceptually the model is similar to a traditional paper-based flow of a post office. Let's look at an example. So imagine Marta, okay? She's just given birth to a child, Ava, and she wants to register the birth of her newborn child. Now, as part of this procedure, Marta needs to prove her own nationality. So Marta needs to make a request to the government entity that manages that authentic source of information. In this case, it's the population register. She wants them to issue an official document that demonstrates her nationality. And so they would issue her birth certificate. Now, the important part is that she can use this official document in the process of registering Ava's birth. And then the administration responsible for births can issue Ava's birth certificate with the same nationality as her mother's. So how would this work in the digital world? Well, a few things need to happen. It means the authentic source needs to connect to a digital post office. In fact, both parties need to have a way of identifying themselves online or digitally. And the authentic source needs a way of verifying who is sending them this request. So who's sending them the request? Okay, it's Marta. The authentic source also has to have a way of receiving requests in this digital format via a secure channel. And they need to be able to issue the digital document or data in real time back to the requester, Marta, through that same secure channel. So how exactly does this work? Well, we use data exchange protocols. All of them follow the logic of the digital post office combined with trusted digital entities. So assuming that the exchange is carried out over the internet, a secure information exchange protocol is adapted by the entities that want to share data with each other. That's so that we can ensure the integrity and confidentiality of the information. Now, this protocol defines key attributes at envelope level, such as who the sender is, who the receiver is, and what's actually being exchanged. So before sharing, both the data sender and the data requester need to acquire an electronic certificate that uniquely identifies who they are. This means that data is signed and time-stamped before being shared to ensure that confidentiality we're looking for. Now, when the setup process for creating a trusted communication channel is complete, the entities have the infrastructural elements in place to trust each other's identities and the integrity of the information they receive from each other. Now, for additional security, the exchange documents or data can also be signed upon issuing to ensure their origin and integrity is verifiable beyond the exchange. Now, more often than not, these exchanges of information happen between government entities playing the role of sender and receiver. The request for information to that data source or data sender is generally initiated by a government entity on behalf of a citizen or business, but only after that citizen or business has identified themselves and provided their consent for the exchange of data to take place. So this is why we need a digital identification framework. It's actually a crucial prerequisite for this pattern to work. Secure mailboxes and other e-government solutions like e-government portals are often coupled with this type of digital post solution. So, now that we know more about this first pattern, we can have a good look at the second one. So, central to this second pattern is the concept of verifiable credential. Now, blockchain is often misunderstood as just yet another data sharing protocol, just another technology to share information, but this time in a distributed way. Well, let's examine this for a moment and get a few things straight. Blockchain is not a protocol for sending and delivering data between systems, but a shared ledger that creates permanent digital records. Blockchain uses cryptographic methods and a distributed consensus that creates trust between disparate systems. Blockchain creates an immutable and decentralized record of logs. In practical terms, this means that blockchain can facilitate checks on the integrity, origin, etc. of official documents without the need to contact their issuing entity each time. Conceptually, this model is similar to a wallet of documents. However, instead of verifications through physical checks, you showing your driving license, these are now possible These checks are now possible through digital means thanks to cryptography and blockchain technology. In this pattern, official documents or credentials are fundamentally a set of claims about someone or something. These claims are then minted in a digital document, usually known as this verifiable credential. They're then confirmed by a competent authority using an electronic signature, and then they're recorded on a blockchain. It's important to highlight that the blockchain stores unique cryptographic hashes alongside other key attributes, but not the data itself. The verifiable credential can contain claims about the citizen or business, for example, having a given nationality or holding a certain degree, and these can be verified at any time using these cryptographic methods. Once issued, the data and documents can usually be stored on this digital wallet by the citizen or the organization, whoever's holding the information. And then the citizen can create these verifiable presentations containing data from one or several credentials as supporting evidence to a real-life transaction, such as changing their address or applying for a job. Verification processes are therefore automatable. We can verify the hash of the document to verify the integrity of the information. We can verify its issuer to verify who issued the official document. And we can verify the holder to be able to verify who the official document was issued to. Unlike the first pattern, any verifier checking the authenticity of a digital document or this verifiable presentation can rely on cryptographic verifications without needing to contact its issuer. Furthermore, it's typically up to the holder of the document to share it with the verifier. That means that the holder controls the information that it wants to share with others. Now, similar to the previous pattern, verifiable credentials depend on several infrastructural elements being in place. First, we need a fully functioning permissioned but publicly available blockchain network that can be trusted by European public administrations. We need a digital identification framework. This is a crucial prerequisite for this pattern to work. In a typical blockchain paradigm, that means that every public administration, business, and citizen would need a decentralized ID, or DID. Now, DIDs are a new type of identifier that enables verifiable, decentralized digital identity. Finally, citizens and businesses would need to have a trusted and secure digital wallet connected to the blockchain to hold their DIDs and documents. The European Commission and the member states are currently working on a pan-European initiative, this European Blockchain Services Infrastructure, EBSI. Now, the idea is to address both the technical and the legal challenges that we face. For example, at present, those DIDs or decentralized identifiers don't contain information on the actual person or organization associated to it. We need a solution so that we can link a specific DID reliably to its associated entity, be that a person, a business, or another organization. And we need to do it in a way that can be verified by other parties when needed, and of course, when consented to by the holder of the document. This is one of the many legal challenges still faced by this emerging pattern. We're working on this and other issues related to privacy and legal alignment. Okay, so let's try and summarize the key things we've learned today. So for us to be able to share information that can be trusted, there are certain prerequisites that need to be in place. We need a legal and technical framework for trusted digital identities and electronic signatures. These technologies are used in both patterns as a way for public administrations, businesses, and citizens to identify themselves and prove that they are who they say they are. But the good news is that these prerequisites are already covered by the eIDAS regulation. The eIDAS regulation is the legal basis for a single EU framework for electronic IDs and trust services. This regulation is really important because it promotes digital services that are secure, but it ensures that those services can work across borders within the EU. We also learned that new solutions will continue to emerge to support the way that we share data and documents in a trusted way. And what's important to remember is that it's not a case of one or the other. The patterns described today are complementary. Both of them enable transactions to be carried out online without the need for physical checks. And both patterns are part of a modern e-government digital infrastructure. This means that digital post offices will be able to connect and benefit from a blockchain infrastructure and those digital wallets, and the other way around. The main challenge will be for governments to have a good understanding of both patterns so that they can apply them in their digital infrastructure in an efficient and effective way, so that they can build great digital services for people and also achieve goals like the once only principle. Finally, these patterns also show that innovative technologies like blockchain and verifiable credentials mean we citizens, you and me, have more control of our data. We'll have what they call data sovereignty or self-sovereign identity. However, to make this a reality, governments will need to provide the guidance on legal and compliance issues and clear up questions on privacy. And then we need the GovTech ecosystem to make secure applications with a great user experience so that people can make the most of these new technologies. Like with the internet, it takes an ecosystem to design, build, and deploy the infrastructure and applications that allow society to reap the benefits of new technology. Engaging these ecosystems has to be part of the strategy for governments at national level, and it has to be part of our strategy at EU level. Over the next few years, we're going to see lots of exciting things happening through the Shaping Europe's Digital Future initiative and the upcoming Digital Europe program. It's going to be really exciting. If you made it this far, thank you for staying the course. I know that if you're just getting into this topic, some of these concepts are not easy. At first, I struggled to get to grips with them myself. So maybe it might be useful to watch this video again, I don't know, but maybe take a break, have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something beforehand. And when you're ready, join me on the next episodes, where we're going to look at some really exciting use cases and road mapping techniques that will hopefully inspire you to kick off your own EPSI pilot. I'm looking forward to seeing you there.